Cool. Okay. Right, should we get started, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Russ, basically, soon I've been spending probably the last week just working on the finer things within the tool, just to focus more on productivity and streamlining the interface so that you can work even faster and more intuitively. And what I'm going to do now is I've basically blanked out the surfing fitness project, and I'm just going to sort of map out a few silos just in real time so we can just look at the data and you can see how simple it is. Let's do this now. So as you can see, the blueprint's blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a data set quickly. Okay, I'm just getting this keyword data from Kraken. This takes us. And here we've got the data set on our keyword decision screen. So what I want to do first here is just map out our silos. So we can see that the wetsuit keyword has floated to the top as being the most profitable for the business, having the highest potential annually. It's almost like a $2 million keyword, $160,000 per month if you get ranked for the keyword. Wow. And based on our conversions, I just want to tweak that slightly because I know that the amount I got there is too low. It's actually $28 per sale. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Just leave that at 40. I'm just going to do these tweaks in real time. All right, so our sale is not 50 but $28. What I did is I took a data feed from a provider. I ran it across 500 products and got the average. And on average, through all the website sales, we can basically get $28 on average. So I'm going to update that. That'll probably half the profit on the grid. But here we can see it's basically going to make 89 grand a month once we rank for it, and that seems a bit more in line. There's 160,000 searches a month on the keyword wetsuit. So I'm just going to move this one across. So what I've done here, updated the amount I get. The way I got the average price here was I ran a data set on the data feed that I'm looking at, and I got the average price through about 500 different wetsuits that are available in that feed, and it works into about $28 per sale. So coming back to the keyword decision screen, we still see that wetsuit is profitable. So I'm just going to move the wetsuit into the silo area over here. And once I've done this, the new feature we brought to us is under the Advanced tab. So when you hover over Silo Framework, you get Advanced Users, Advanced Silo Framework Management. And when the screen loads, basically what it gives you the ability to do now is to move keywords rapidly across to the silo. So the first thing we want to do here is map out our categories. So I select the silo, wetsuit. That wetsuit up there is the parent theme for the whole website. So there's my silo. I've selected that, and now what I can do is I can basically just go down the list, and I can select the categories that I'm interested in. So exercise, I'm just going to grab a few to demonstrate how simple it is. But on that one, the triathlon, we can see that's worth $3 grand a month for us. We can see that this one is $540 and it costs us $160 to do. And then spring wetsuit is worth $261 a month, and it's going to cost us roughly $71. So I've selected 3 there. I'm going to select wetsuits as well as the dot, but I'm going to exclude that from our blueprint. So this column here, exclude, means that the price of $4,000 a month will be not deducted from our budget when I check that box over there.
Okay.
So let's click Move to Blueprint. And we can see there's $10,000 there and $1 million, $89,000 a month. There it's moved all the keywords as categories underneath wetsuit in basically one action. Adjusted the costings on the profits accordingly. So we just added 10 grand to the monthly profit there, and another $1,000 per year.
Okay.
For
And explain to our users, like really quick, like just in why is it valuable, the thinking worker, and why is it valuable to add that without having it affect the budget we created in the beginning of the project?
Sorry, could you say that again, Russ?
Just explain for anybody who's listening who might not fully understand, why is it useful to add that without having it affect the overall budget that we created at the beginning of the project?
Yeah, basically, this keyword term word search here, we can use this almost as a placeholder to add alternate things. You can do the same on the term word search here if you don't want to actually promote this actively. From a silo architecture perspective, we basically do a top-down approach where you've got the larger, more competitive terms at the top, and then the less competitive terms still sitting at the bottom. But ideally, we don't want to have to pay top dollar to get ranked for a keyword. So this is why we build out the silo architecture. And
Right.
when we come back to actually get ranked for a keyword in a few months' time, we can actually uncheck it, and we can then see how much money we actually want to invest on promoting that keyword at that point in time. So in the silos, we can actually create placeholders where we create one static page, but we're not going to actively promote it, and therefore it doesn't impact the budget.
Exactly. And I wanted to iterate that because it's just so important. It's been a point of confusion for people in the past, and this just makes it really, really easy to back yourself into difficult keywords, and to even come back later on with a client who you're working with and show them the results and saying, hey, it would have cost you this much to target an incredibly competitive keyword, but by virtue of the fact that we were working smarter and not harder, you already have a market value and search value toward these profitable terms, which is really cool. I love it.
It also allows you to spread out keywords. So let's say that you've got keywords that are fairly easy to target, but right now you want to target the summer keywords and get ranked for them, and 6 months from now you want to target the winter keywords and get ranked for them. So it allows you to spread out your promotion and syndication of those blueprints to appropriate times in the year so that you're not currently spending money to rank for keywords that don't do you a lot of good in this particular season.
Yeah, especially with the surfing the wetsuit type of theme here. Summer wetsuits would be shorty wetsuits or full suits that are very thin, whereas in winter you'll have the full suits with the hoods and all that kind of stuff, and they are seasonal. So you're basically sitting between almost like a half in the warm season and the cold seasons, and the conditions within the ocean. So that complements what Sue just said to us now as well in this example we're looking at.
Both excellent points. Okay, thanks. Really cool.
So basically, if we took triathlon wetsuit as an example, and we clicked on triathlon wetsuit and we want to expand on triathlon wetsuit, what's great about this new feature is there's no fiddling or configuring or tweaking with it, and the system knows where you are at all times, and it just moves your keywords to the place you want to move in. So if I just type in triathlon over here and just highlight them, we can just very quickly move in the triathlon wetsuit as a supporting article just underneath that keyword, and you can do 1 or you can do 10. So if you import a data set that's specifically for triathlon wetsuits, you can build out that whole category and theme very, very rapidly just by checking all the keywords you want and pushing them in and excluding the ones that you don't want to promote at this point in time. And there you can see we've just mapped out literally in this short conversation for silo, a single silo of 5 categories. That's potentially a website just sitting over there, a single silo site, where we're 1 category short.
Right.
And in this particular example, he's using the long tail of the parent term, but you could take that parent term and throw it into either TLKT or Kraken. If you're in TLKT, you're going to want to filter it so that you get a Larry that's, let's say, above 60. In Kraken, it's already going to be thematically relevant. And and then you import that list, and you can choose things specifically off that list and bang them over to your silo lickety-split.
Right, and you can just segregate new silo landing pages based on that combined with your product.
Yes, so what we've done is with the application, we sort of worked very closely with how your mind can work in you're not actually working on a linear process anymore where you've got to think about 500 things. You're focusing on one specific thing at a time. So as you said, you just take triathlon wetsuit, put it into the last keyword tool, export it out to the Hi Larry, import it in. DWS then comes and sorts and filters and applies all your business rules. You can see the costs, you can see how much profit you're going to make, you can see the golden niches in an instant there. So if this was the triathlon theme and we saw that those two keywords there were brands that were specific to triathlon wetsuits, we could basically push those ones straight into the blueprint with a few clicks of the mouse.
Gotcha.
And then what the silo manager does here on the side when it comes back is it ranks and sorts and orders the keywords for you. Worry about that. So there you can see how very rapidly we're actually building up the site in real time as we bring our data sets in. So while you're working, when you finish with a specific data set, you simply just check all and then you click delete and you get rid of the keywords that you're working with that you don't want. So then what I can do here now is if I want to bring in a large list of keywords specific to wetsuit, I'll just grab another list so we can show you. This one's got about nearly 200 keywords. It's the show all keywords from Kraken. We can hoover in that big list and find more triathlon keywords specific to that category that we're busy building out.
Okay.
So let's go to full triathlon. There we find extra 3 keywords that we can move across from the system. So wetsuits for triathlon, rent versus triathlon. And we can see that basically out of all those keywords, there's only really one that's worth something to us. So in this case, we can just shift that one across as a supporting article of triathlon.
Right, and that's based on the parameter you set up as far as value. So those keywords they match what it is you're looking for as far as your budget and your parameter.
Yeah.
Okay. And
so there we go. There we have all the supporting articles sitting underneath triathlon.
Yeah. And just emphasizing that that is set up by our users, for those who are new early on during the beginning phase of your project.
So what's great about this, guys, for all the people watching us in this thing, if I take triathlon, one thing Russell's spoken about for many years is the golden thread that weaves the theme throughout the whole site. If I click highlight all, you can basically see how we've got triathlon running all the way through that specific theme underneath the triathlon wetsuit. If we typed in wetsuit, and we looked at the highlight structure, we can see how wetsuits are running from the parent theme down into the silo, all the way down through the silos, and even right down through the supporting articles and categories. And here you can start seeing all the modifiers or the shingles that are related to the actual wetsuit terms. So the spring triathlon, Stereo, Patagonia triathlon, and so forth. So this is how we get a nice theme built up very, very, very quickly and very in the tool set. And there is no tools out there that actually do this. I'm just having a chat about it today.
Right. That's absolutely true. There's just, that's why it's taken us so long to come up with it all. Having that shingling, what we used to call pure, impartial, diverse, and making sure you're covering all your bases, around those keywords, very, very challenging to program systematically for the average user. Doing a great job.
And yeah, that's the new feature that we just got sorted out for the guys. So that's basically shaven. I think it's probably increased the productivity of probably about 40 or 50, even up to 60%. Especially if you're building big sites like you're not talking about a large e-commerce store, for example. And so you had to bring in and there was one specific category. Maybe there's 500 products related to that specific category.
Right.
What you can do now is you can bring in that list, see which ones are profitable and worthwhile using, and you can just bulk move that whole list underneath a specific category or a silo. You just drop it, whack, after you've proved and vetted which ones are worthwhile putting in. The ones that aren't worthwhile investing in, you just simply exclude them and shift them across.
Before we close this kind of sneak peek presentation, let me ask you a question, Matt. For our more advanced users, these are conversations I've had over the last few days. Just for purposes of demonstration, when you talked about running your feed and getting the average price, that's how you came up with your price of your particular product, which I think is an ingenious and fun way for the demonstration. What kind of site are you building here? Is this an affiliate-based thing? Or in your mind, is this more of a Main Street website, just for the purpose of our more advanced users?
When I did my market research in Kraken, the one thing that became apparent to me with the surfing niche was the things that sell were wetsuits, surfboards, surf accommodation, and basically surf camps, learning to surf. Those are the main keywords where the sort of the money flowed through the market, and there were the peaks. We could see that guys are actually spending money there. So in this particular project, what I'm looking to do in the wetsuit silo is actually map out the entire wetsuit market. So wetsuits for triathlons, wetsuits for surfing, wetsuits for scuba diving, and categorizing, ranking, sorting all the wetsuits that way, and then feeding data feeds in where it's almost like an affiliate type of website. We're just driving the traffic, but we've got the whole market, basically every type of wetsuit mapped out. So it'll be a really big website. There'll end up being a few thousand products within design.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. So for those of you who I've had more advanced conversations with, what you've just seen is the ability to create a site that covers the whole gamut where all the money is in a particular area in a vertical, and create any kind of site you want, whether it's for your own business storefront or wholesaling business, or creating a website that is literally an affiliate type website which you can generate pretty hefty monthly income for yourself and or flip it for quite a profit to any major vertical company in the industry who would buy it, which they very much would. And not only that, you'd be able to present them with a report that reveals the total search market value in ways that no other applications out there do that. Sue, is there any insight from the architect?
Yeah, there's one more comment based on what you were just talking about, flipping that site. And, we've been looking at how to evaluate sites and that kind of thing. You'll see right there at the bottom of the screen that on the left-hand side, what Matt's showing right now, you've got your business monthly volume and your business annual volume. And from that, you can calculate really easily that once this website's ranked for all those keywords, what your flip value is going to be.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. And that flip value, or the affiliate annual, that can be a part of the primary process. Whoops, I've got dogs barking my target. That can be a part of the major evaluation process used to determine what the site's worth. Anyway, that sounds great. I really like what we're looking at. I'm going to be zooming more. I've been having conversations with Sue, and when I can drag Matt out of development mode, I try to talk about this. We're going to have more stuff about site valuation and all these kinds of things. That's kind of one of my newfound areas of passion and interest. How do you actually buy and sell businesses online? Guys, I'm going to close this by saying one thing that you're going to hear us talk about a lot more. The age of getting online and making a bunch of money as a newbie, those days are being stamped out of existence. And I have to say, it's partially due to people like us developing tools like this. I've shown this application to people who actually buy and sell businesses online. And it's going to crush and change the way that value is created online. The good news is those of you in the Themes Image community and family are going to have a pretty good understanding and unfair advantage and educational process, as any of our longtime Themes members will tell you. You have a equivalent of a master's degree and several PhDs in online marketing very quickly. So this is the opportunity to go with the changes online, where the old internet marketing mindset is gone, and the new mature business mindset. How much is the site worth? How much does it cost you to build? How much money is in it? And how you evaluate the value of that. I'm really excited, you guys, about this. Thanks, Matt and Sue.
No worries.
Very excited.
A last thing I want to say there, Russ, is the rapid deployment of building silo architecture sites is another thing which will give you a very unfair advantage because everyone's still struggling to try and understand the concept.
That's correct. And I have to say that both you and Sue have taught me, you and Sue have taught me the most about one thing that is different about our perspective than any other things out there, guys. You can attend other, $10,000 courses on website real estate valuation and online, business venturing and these things. And all of these guys, friends, who evaluate businesses online, they're pretty much guessing, even the larger sites when you go to Flippa and all those other things. And one of the things that they say that you cannot change when I talk to them, and which in the old paradigm, which we are breaking through, is that you cannot change the site architecture. That is, when you buy a site, there's nothing you can do to fix the SEO value, and they'll just overlook that value. Well, we're changing all that. I had a conversation with a multimillionaire online site flipper yesterday, and they're literally changing the stuff that we're building right now is going to change the way that they view how to buy and sell businesses online. That's how huge this is. That's where I'm really excited, guys. I'm really passionate, and yeah, you're going to make thousands of dollars learning how to tweak your own sites and all this, but the bigger picture, when you go bigger with us, is you're going to have information and insights into online buying and selling and development, and very few people will have. That's what keeps me up at night excited. So,
exactly.